Priyaman is my very good friend, so I thought I should take the privilege in interviewing her first about her life story and journey with the living master, His Holiness Sri Sri Ravi Shankar Gurudev. Priya is an international art of living teacher more than a decade. Though a part-time teacher, she is a very good organizer, volunteer and travels and teaches lot of courses and handles lot of projects. She was working as a director of Sri Sri Rural Development Trust at Bangalore International Center, India for more than 2 years. She takes courses for children's, teens, corporate courses and border security courses and much more. Right now, she is handling Andaman and Nicobar Island as a director and works with Triforce Command. As very few of us know, she is Dr. Shashi Tharoor's cousin sister, who is a member of Indian Parliament, Trivandrum, Kerala, India. He is columnist, author and he has served as UN Under General Secretary for 29 years. Now let's get to know more about Priya's family, her journey with Gurudev and her relation with Dr. Shashi Tharoor, direct from her in heart-to-heart conversation. Priya is from a corporate background, very successful international HR trainer. Now let's start with question.
Thank you, Purnima, for inviting me for the interview. Thank you very much.
Can you share about your family and your profession?
I am from an age-old 150-year-old ancestral family from Palakkad, from Elevancherry, Palakkad. My dad is from Elevancherry and my mother is from Palashila. Both are from Palakkad. But my entire education is from Chennai. So I have lived more outside Kerala. And my dad is from a very, he's very strict. He has, for him, his family plays the first role. So all our entire upbringing was mostly in the, aristocrat strict family where we are taught human values. So I have one brother who is a director of Hikvision, he's in Dubai, and sister who is a quality control manager. She's with the US based company. So and we are just 5 of us. But every year we used to go to the village in Palakkad and we used to have, I had a flavor of what joint family is from the childhood. So I know how it is to influence and adapt in our family. So basically it's a blend of joint family and a blend of nuclear family.
How was Dr. Shashi Tharoor related to you?
Dr. Shashi Tharoor is my eldest brother. In the sense like my grandfather and his grandmother are brothers and sisters. But if you see, my father and his mother grew up in the same family in Kerala, in Palakkad. So my father has never taught me Dr. Shashi Tharoor is your cousin brother. So we have lived in a family wherein everyone, like they tell us brother, sister. So for me, he is the eldest brother in my family. And a lot of things I have learned from him. In the sense like he's been a role model and he's also been a person who's straight from the heart and who does what he really wants to do. So as a sister, I would say I'm proud of him because we are not from a political background. None of us were from politics and none of us were from the service background. So if you see that he had stepped into a completely different author, I understand because at least his father, like my religion, was an author. But otherwise, he was not we never had a political background. But he wanted to serve the country and he stood up and he was selected as the Under General Secretary and he had served for 29 years, which is a long duration. So there's a lot of peacemaking things he has done, which not everyone knows. In fact, the work, the effort that he has put, I think very minimum has come out. Even I don't know much, I would say. And the second thing is politically, none of us were politicians. but he really wanted to do something. Probably his voice is not heard, but he is a phenomenal person, and he has stood up to what he wants to do in spite of the criticisms he gets. He wants to really do something for the country. That's what I look up to him as a brother. And I have met him once, probably 4 years before. I have met him in Delhi with my son. So it was just a 5 minutes, 10 minutes meeting. Otherwise, I don't interact with him much. So when I went and met him in Delhi, I didn't know what to get for him. This was just a remembrance of how I met him. So when I went, I just got a packet of Swiss chocolate, covered it, wrapped it, and gave it to him as a gift from the sister. So he was looking at the gift with so much of love, and he looked at me and he said, he opened the wrapper and he said, "Chocolate? Do you think I'm a child?" So I was laughing. I said, "I didn't know what to bring for you." So very soon I'll be meeting him once again as a sister, but this time the gift will definitely be something which he will remember, and it will be with a lot of love from me.
So nice. As a brother, how do you look up to him?
Huh. As a sister, he's a real role model. He has actually created a history in the family. In the entire joint family, if you see, he had stood for what he wants to do. I can relate to him in many ways because he got politics. He wanted to serve the country. So, including me, we have all criticized him. We didn't want him to get into politics because we seeing so many things in the media, and for his qualification and for his experience, we felt Indian politics was not his cup of tea. So, but then later on, but he stood up to what he wants to do. Now, if you see years together, now all of us have accepted him, and he continuously tries to make people understand what his vision is, which was phenomenal. In spite of all the criticisms he got, all of them had stood against him, and all the pains that he had gone through, still he's standing up tall. So for me, he is a wonderful role model. And secondly, I know him a little more now because I stepped up once again as a different personality in my family. Guru was never there in the family. So we go to temple, pray, all that was there. But Guru Tattva, I was the person who brought Guru Tattva in the family. So I understand the criticisms, what it went, and how it is in the family. So as a sister, I truly look up to him, and I'm proud to say that Dr. Shashi Tharoor is my brother, eldest brother.
Having a successful career, why did you come to spirituality and service to humanity?
Spirituality, awareness of spirituality was at a much later age. But when I was 7 years old, I had questioned life basically. In the sense, like I was looking at my parents, and I saw there was a cyclic pattern movement that was continuously happening in my family. So basically, mother used to cook, my brother used to come, my younger brother used to come home, my sister used to come home. We used to, the school, and it's nothing but eating, sleeping, going to office, going out, meeting relatives, and once again it is the same. So that was a day when I had my science test, and the teacher is very strict, Purnima, so I had no choice but to study. So I was looking at a book, and then I was looking at, Lord Krishna had been my best friend from small. I speak quite a lot to Krishna, Lord Krishna. So he is my buddy, he is my friend, and I tell him everything. So I looked at the photo of Lord Krishna and I asked, oh my God, am I studying all this till college to do the thing that my parents are doing? It's the same thing again and again. And once again you die, because a lot of grandparents have died. So then once again you give birth, and once again you come. So when is this cyclic movement getting cut? So this is exactly what I wanted to know. So I looked at Lord Krishna's photograph, and I looked at my parents, and I felt this is what life is all about. I felt life is very boring. There's nothing in doing all these things. So there was a light which came that night, and it had a beautiful face. It was a very angelic face. So it came down, and innocently I raised my hands, and it touched my hands. And after that, I opened my eyes to see that the face disappeared, but the light was there in the entire room. So I had questioned myself, which was dream? Is it open eye dream or closed dream, or what was it? But then as the days went off, I forgot about the dream, and everything was usual, and I went to college and all that. So that is exactly without awareness my spiritual journey started. And when I came to the Art of Living Center to meet Gurudev, after years after that, when I got married and I had a small son, whole of our family came and met. I met Gurudev in Ganga Kutir. I was a volunteer at that time. So I came, and when I entered into Ganga Kutir, I saw Gurudev's secretary there. And Gurudev just looked at me, and when I saw the entire thing, I understood, I could connect it, that this was a path that Gurudev has chosen for me, and which was a glimpse of what my future was. So everything was correlating very well. So, and standing in front of Gurudev, I've never felt that Gurudev and me were separate. It was as if I know him for n number of lifetimes, and I've always been with him. So there was nothing like, I'm looking up to a guru, I got all that feelings was not there. It was just that's it. It's
You're
a very,
one with it.
yes, exactly. I was just one with it, correct.
Can you share any 3 life experience in your journey with Gurudev in which you learned, you move forward and faith become rooted?
Okay. Right. 3 life experiences, right?
Yeah.
The first one is after coming from Qatar, Doha, there was a lot of deputation that was happening in Doha because of some misunderstanding between the government and us, because they thought, see, ours is a humanitarian based organization and we touch across all the countries and we have teachers across the country. So there was a little bit of misunderstanding. A lot of teachers were getting deported at that time. So they had told us to stop the activities for some time. So at that time, nothing was happening in Qatar except for all of us, all the teachers were doing a sadhana. So I came down, we had a teachers training meet, and that time I met Gurudev and I asked Gurudev, this is what is it, can I relocate to India? So he said, relocate to India. Then all the teachers were asking, and he looked at me and he told, only we relocate. So the rest of the teachers were looking at me. So that was the time I relocated. It took 1 year for me to relocate back to India, to Bangalore. And I came to the ashram and I met Deepak Sharma. Deepak ji, who is the trustee of Sri Sri Rural Development Trust. And he said, we need people in the SSRDP department. He said, why don't you come and join? You'll be such a backbone to the department. So that was a period when I had to go to JNK and start taking courses, because that was guided by Gurudev to me. He said, go and take courses in Jammu and Kashmir. So then I gave this message to Deepak. So Deepak told me, come back and join. This particular position for you will always be there. So then after taking the course, I came back and I joined the department. And when I joined, and meanwhile in this short duration, Deepak became a very good friend of mine. He started, a lot of projects were discussed with me, and we gelled well. So in the duration of organizing, we had organized few of the events, the department meetings, etc., etc. So one of the events was with the central government of India. So that was with Mr. Mangesh had come down from Bombay, and the trustee Mr. Niranjan Rao was there, and Deepak Sharma was also a trustee, one of the trustees. So all of us came together to organize this. So we had invited the Honorable Rural Minister Sudarshan Bhagatji, and his secretary Pramodji was there, and Karnataka Chief Minister was there. So all our team came together to do this. So we had made a nice invitation, and that was my first experience as an event, directly working with Gurudev. So we were very excited because we made a wonderful invitation and we took it to Gurudev. So Gurudev looked at the invitation and we expected an appreciation. He looked at it and he was checking all the lines in the invitation, and he found out all the mistakes in the invitation, and he looked at me and Mangesh and he said, you don't even know to do an invitation. What can I do? And he was so firm. I've never seen Gurudev this firm. I've always seen, but in that firmness also there was so much of love. So it was a blend of firmness and love. Because it was love, firmness, I had tears in my eyes and I started crying. I didn't know what to do. So then Gurudev, and that was a time when we had worked for an ISO certification too, because we had skills training center also underneath. So our department getting ISO certification was very important. So me and Mangesh had worked together for that particular certification. So papers, everything was there. And the next day, a few days after that, the few of them came from different departments, and then we made the invitation proper. And then Gurudev he never said anything. He said fine. And then he said it's a national program. It's not an SSRDP program. So then the next day the program happened, and all of a sudden, someone else from the department has to compare. Now he told me he will not come forward. He said it's not possible, Didi, aap dekh lo. So that is when everything triggered, and I had to step forward in Vishalakshmi Mandap to take the lead forward. And that's when I understood the love of what Gurudev is. Without any reason. In fact, he jerked me with his firmness to make me very strong from inside. And after the event, it was a very successful event. So we were very happy. The entire department was happy. But the next day, I saw a very different Deepak. All of a sudden, Deepak changed. A lot of everybody changed. Who were a friend were all, it was a difference. So there was no appreciation, nothing. But there was something else, and I was feeling very bad because I didn't know where I made a mistake. And then so many things happened that I didn't know how to handle it because I was extremely new to working style of the ashram. So I had written a letter to Gurudev and copied it to all the directors and trustees, stating that this is what had happened and I'm resigning from this job because I don't know how to handle the department and the director's position that's given to me, because it's a responsibility. And for the first time in my life, which was not my natural quality, because in my family and Gurudev has taught me always ethical values and human values. He says human values and ethical values are first, and spirituality brings it, it nurtures that. So Deepak is a very good friend of mine. In spite of that, I complained against him, and to Gurudev and to everybody. But the rest of the department didn't mind, because for them it was one of the things. It happens usually, because they are all people who have been working in the ashram for long. But it shook me very badly because it was not my nature. So then the next day I went and met Gurudev with the trustee, and Gurudev just looked at me and said, there's a slight misunderstanding. So he said, start taking a lot of courses. So after that, a lot of other departments told me, why don't you come to our department, and you have the caliber to take things forward. But I was very clear, I'll take courses, because Gurudev's guidance and direction was that. But when I stepped back after a week, I realized that I had made a mistake. However the person's behavior is, when you are a friend, you have to be a true friend. And I don't think it was a big mistake and a huge learning that I got from that. After that, I did apologize to Deepak Sharma, and today I am addressing it in front of the media. Itself shows that both of us have moved ahead, and we both are still wonderful friends. But I had that feel, and because of that feel, which Gurudev made me aware that humanity plays the first role. Mistakes can happen with anyone, but what you give importance is what we are. So that was the first experience directly with Gurudev, working professionally with Gurudev. So that is when I realized how professional Gurudev is. Even a small mistake comes to his and he corrects it. Second incident was when I went back to Qatar. Once again, it was the second re-going, when my husband got a job there, and we went back to Qatar, and that is when I went and met Gurudev, and I said, Gurudev, I am going back to Qatar. So he said, go and come back. So I said, fine, going and come back means anything, right? So I went, and when I entered the country, that was the first time Gurudev went ahead of me. He went to Singapore, and his flight was before, and after that was my flight. So he went ahead of me, and he just looked at me and went. So I was feeling really overwhelmed, because it was a huge blessing from Gurudev. Then after that, when I entered the country, so there is a custom called they scan the eyeballs especially. So when I entered, my son's was done, my eyeballs were not getting done. It was not getting printed anywhere, nothing was moving. So that lady who was standing there, she asked me, "What's wrong?" I said, "I'm not doing anything. I'm showing my eyelids. I'm opening my eyes and showing my eyeballs." She did 3-4 times, it was not getting imprinted at all. So then she said, "It's a visit visa, so you can enter the country anyway." It was only for 20 days. So I entered the country, and before coming into Qatar, I had sold everything. It was like, because we have a villas given and it's completely furnished, so I need not take anything from here. So it was just a bag full of clothes of my sons and mine. Nothing was there, and my immigration was not getting done. Nothing was moving. I entered the country. It was such a shock of my life that I couldn't take it at all. I didn't know what to do. And then I had no choice but to leave the country just with 20 days in hand. When I left the country and when I landed in India, I realized there's nobody except Gurudev in our life, because I had just one bag of clothes, no house, nothing. Yes, I did have a choice of going back to my parents or staying back in Bangalore and going through the entire thing. But if I've got to go back to Bangalore, and there is another thing that my family doesn't understand Guru Tattva. So that is where Gurudev will, my father will definitely tell me to stop teaching. So I didn't want to leave the path. Gurudev says you have to balance everything. Family and service plays a major role, and we have to balance it. So that knowledge stuck me. Only thing is I need a lot of patience. So I said, and anyway my son's admission will not be done because it's mid of the year, and he was with the SSRBM East. So I went and met the principal, Mrs. Reshma ji. So Reshma ji was very kind enough. She understood everything and she took him back once again, because it was a gap of only one month, and I had to relocate, move into a OYO room. It was such a shock because it was very uncertain that I never expected this. Stayed there in a OYO room and sent my son to school till a proper furnished flat was ready. So then I searched the flat, and then once again I got a flat. So that day that was a day I hit the bottom rock and went into minus. But Gurudev has taught us to once again step forward and move forward. That's the second lesson I learned, that when a master is there, you can move forward. The strength is from within. He is there with you. Now this, how did he prove? How did Gurudev prove this? That was the first birthday where Gurudev had sent a direct message from his mobile, 3:30 in the morning, wishing me happy birthday. So I had tears of gratefulness to this master who is there with us right every second, more than his physical body, because I am not a teacher who had been with him physically interacting in a day-to-day basis. I am like all of you, all the people here who are interacting from within. So, and then after that particular incident, everything set down, and that's when I realized the master is there with you. And then slowly it started picking up. And the third incident was when I lost my father. I lost my father 3 years back. He never agreed to me being an art of living teacher. He said you should have taken a procession. So because of that, the entire family had something. Yeah, in the second incident, I have gone through a huge lot of humiliation, mainly because everybody criticized me, stating it's mainly because the art of living that you had to come out of the country. But I did prove that it was not. It took a while, but yes, it did. And when my dad had to leave, his soul has to depart. So that is when he understood. So the doctor diagnosed him as stomach cancer, and I am very close to him, though he is very strict, etc. Lot of things I have learned from him, especially discipline, and he had a completely corporate background, so he is very disciplined. And there was a shake in the family, so I had to completely take responsibility of it. So I had literally balanced it, and when he departed, he said, your path is perfect and you are with the right Guru. So Gurudev will take care of everything now. Gurudev will take care of you. So that was the greatest moment in my life, when my family understood, the entire family understood the Guru Tattva. He is there taking care of us. So it was a huge knowledge. Yes, it took a lot of years, No, but Gurudev has taught all of us to balance family and the spiritual, and balance family and spirituality. He's never told us to leave the family and run. In fact, he has told us to balance the family and take more responsibility and take all of them as one world family. So that's what is Gurudev's teaching.
Lot of transformation, so that's a great thing. Your experience with border security courses in Jammu and Kashmir.
That was the first assignment in India for me. So I landed up in J&K. So there, Tariq Nasim Khan was already working in Kashmir. He was working in the Kashmir fort. So he was taking courses for the youth in colleges and all. So I had given a call to him and he has arranged for an accommodation in Jammu. So that was my first visit in Jammu, and I've never realized, I didn't know how to go to Jammu. Everything was very green. And because being from the south, I have never seen a border. So I never knew what is border security force, etc. So we have just started with a few of the normal courses. And one of the courses, one of them was doing a course with me who was a retired person with a border security course in Samba district. It was a small village, Samba district. So that was a Pakistan in Indo-Pak border. So then he said, Priya ma'am, why don't you just come and talk to the higher officials? This course is very much needed. So that is when I went and spoke, and after that, immediately they gave us a schedule of the course. So it was the entire administration block in the morning, all the higher officials, and in the evening it was Indo-Pak border.
Oh.
So from the place where we were taking the course, we were able to see the Pakistan border with their guns. That was a real experience wherein I felt everybody was human. So I was wondering, where is the border? Because there is only one river which was crossing the border. So 2.5 months I was under the security. Me and Tariq was completely taking the border security course morning and evening. Nobody could contact us except for once in a while, 10 or 15 days. We can just give a call home and say a hi to our family. So it was a huge experience wherein I learned, I really understood that these people are completely securing our country. They have gone through physical, every day they have physical regime. But what is it that, how do we do something for their mind? Because their mind is completely agitated. And there is a sector of defense, entire family is going through their own stress. They are ready, they are prepared, they are brave. But internally there is a mind, there is an emotion which has to be handled right. So that is where I started focusing on the border security, and I could start putting my attention more on them. I started taking more of courses for them. Though corporates also I was taking, but more of BSF courses.
It's a great job, adventurous.
It is really
great. How do you land up in Andaman Nicobar Island serving the Triforce Command?
Andaman and Nicobar Islands, the Tamil Nadu Apex has given me one of the person in Tamil Nadu had given me a call and said they wanted teachers to take children course there. So we called up the teacher who was a very senior teacher in Andaman who was already serving there. So he said he needed a teacher for Art XLAs. So that's how I landed up there, started taking courses for Art XLAs, and then finally once again I landed taking up courses for the cross borders, international cross borders, because there we have Triforce Command Service, which is there only in the entire India. The Triforce Command is only there in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So when I went there, I understood the value of that particular island and how crucial it plays for India. So once again I started taking courses for the Triforce Command, and it's an ongoing journey. So it's in a very initial stage now, so I can't tell much about the project or the courses that's happening in Triforce, but it is on the move. So Art of Living is doing a very good job there.
Has a children's, teens and youth faculty any message to the next generation?
Right. Spirituality is the base of our existence, and spiritual values are very important. As a teenager, information, IT is definitely needed. Techo savvy is very much important. But with that, spirituality enhances our quality, and it makes our life much more clearer. And I would say spirituality is the most challenging path, wherein especially walking with the living master, who is walking the land. He is alive when we are alive, and he is breathing the same air. So to walk with a living master, anything can change at any time, and you will be molded in such a way that future is completely creative, and it is very beautiful for the teenagers. So I would say all the kids and teenagers have to take the spiritual practice. And for me, being an Art of Living teacher, I have found Art of Living, Sudarshana Kriya and the other techniques are the most simplest technique, and for the modern times, and for the people, whether they have time or they don't have time, it's a capsule size process, but it's very, very profound and powerful. The meditation techniques, everything.
Why do you feel spirituality is essential for everyone?
This is, when I used to watch the video Love Moves the World, as teachers we used to share it, right? Love moves the world. There is a word there's a sentence that Gurudev says at the end. The voice of peace and the voice of truth has to be loved and clear. I used to think, what is this that Gurudev wants to convey? In the years, of course, every time when I hear, it's just a different meaning. But in the years of hearing, I understood that the voice of peace is our natural quality. When we are peaceful, everything around us is completely at peace. So peaceful person, peaceful community has to wake up. And truth is that we are a being. We are not the body. So transcending beyond the body and acknowledging the entire world as one world family. And as Gurudev says, the entire humanity is one, beyond caste, religion, creed. We as a one huge family is what the message is. So for me, being in the path has taught the unity, and all of us coming as a one world family working for peace. And I think this is a time where peace has to be louder and unity has to come together.
Priya, I know that you are a very good singer. Okay, can you sing one Tamil song for us?
You'll join me?
I'm not a good singer. Hopefully, I can.
Come, we'll sing together. Okay?
Okay, what song?
Snehidare, Snehidare, Ragasiya Snehidare, Chinna Chinnadai, Korikaigal, Sevikodu Snehidare, Ide Alutham, Ide
Nice.
Thank you.
Finally, we'll go with Guru's song.
Right. Guru Om Guru, Guru Namo Namah, 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 Guru Om Guru, Guru Namo Namah.
Thank you. So, keep watching. We have got a lot of things to share. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Purnima, for taking your valuable time and interviewing me. Thank you very much.